Hello, hello, hello. I'm Curt Doty with RealmIQ. We are promoting our RealmIQ sessions with some excerpts for LinkedIn. In this session, I'm talking with Darren Gibb, coming to us all the way from Spain. Let's listen in. What are your thoughts about this age of AI that we're in?
Exciting and terrifying in equal measures. Yeah, you and I obviously we debated against one another last week. It is. I think that it's really important that we get excited, that we push it for good and so on, but we are very aware of the potential flaws, dangers, and risks associated to it. But I do think it's a fascinating time for businesses. Again, I think we also need to be careful about the workers and what happens when jobs are taken. Yeah. But it's an incredible time. I think as digital marketers, it's an incredible time. I think it's I think there's a line that's been thrown around a lot, Curt, saying that, AI won't take your job, but someone with knowledge of AI will. I think it's a lazy platitude, actually. I think that it's not helpful in any way to be saying that. I think that it's not so much perhaps even about knowing how to use AI. I think it's about being comfortable with it. I think on a philosophical and on a logical basis of being comfortable with it. I think it's down to companies to be learning themselves and then teaching their workers. Unfortunately, the way that capitalism works, obviously companies are always going to want to cut costs and get things as cheap as possible. So I think there's a moral responsibility upon employers as well, because if all employees can be using AI to enhance their own work within the company, that can only be a win-win basis, especially if these skills are transferable. But to go back to your question, that the age of AI, it is fascinating. I mean, I think you only have to look at things through ChatGPT 3.5 compared to 4, just as an example. Midjourney 4 compared to 5.2, and then I can't imagine what Midjourney 6 is going to look like. I think just the speed at which these technologies are improving is exciting, and I think the idea that any AI that we touch today, it's as bad as it's ever going to be, is again a terrifying and hugely exciting thought. So it's something that is here, as you say, it's here to stay. It's not suddenly going to go away. And I think it's incumbent that people do learn to do it, just like, especially in Western civilizations, when workforces where literacy was, where people were able to become literate. I think it's similar with AI. I think we need to be training people to become AI literate. And the technologies that we have at the moment might seem very confusing, but the fact I can build applications without knowing a line of code is, again, a fascinating thing to do. So again, it's about working with these technologies and ensuring that they are available to everyone, that I think we have incredible benefits that can only benefit ourselves, the workplace, and the world.
Yeah, it's a fascinating time. I look back to the Renaissance, which was in your neck of the woods, and how science empowered man to think about his own destiny and his own creative solutions and observations to redefine what the world meant. And up to that point, it was the Catholic Church that controlled everything. If you look at the Catholic Church back then as big tech, and the Renaissance empowering people to think on their own, and which eventually led to exploring the world and conquering it in different ways, which was not necessarily great, but yep. But in terms of progress, science, and look where we are today, I think some of those metaphors carry over to the empowerment that is coming through today. And I think that threat, I'm a branding guy, so communication is important to me. Language is important. I know it's important to you. And it's, AI has a branding problem. I've talked about this before. You may not agree, but I think the use of robots and imagery is a negative image. And just like you said, you're going to be not replaced by robots, but someone who knows AI, that's also a negative image. And I think focusing on the positive themes of empowerment and kind of supercharge yourself and elevate and upskill yourself, I think those are the positive messages to get out there, because people, it's more easily to embrace versus, oh, robots, I'm fearful now. I'm going into something I don't understand, where, you know, conversational AI is here. You know how to speak, you know how to direct something, or, you know, it's prompt engineering, and now is just really having a conversation. And so all these barriers come down, and if we can equate empowerment with the ease of speaking, wow, what an effect, and what an adoption curve that's going to happen because of that, right?
Yeah. I think we also perhaps place too much emphasis on prompt engineering. I'm kind of contradicting myself here, but I think that as AI gets better and it does understand, you know, natural language processing even better, I think, you know, there's a lot of learn prompt engineering, 300K a year. I think, again, it's not quite that accurate. I'm not convinced we will need to learn prompt engineering in 2 years, 3 years time. I think simply the ways that the AI will be able to process things, we can speak a lot of nonsense into it and it will be able to understand exactly what it is we want. Like anything to do with language, there will be better inputs and worse inputs. But I think at the moment, there's definitely there are structures I feel that you need to know, and you need to understand what the AI, let's just use ChatGPT or any large language model, that it responds better to. But it's, you know, it's little tricks like critique, analyze, and evaluate your output before giving me your final answer, because of the way that GPT works, it doesn't know what it's going to be writing at the end as it's writing in the beginning. So the little things like that we can refine and get much better content from. I think it's about, again, I would imagine it will be pre-built in just the coming year or two. That'll start becoming pre-built in. So yeah, I think it's for many it's an existential crisis, isn't it, Curt? For many it's what happens to us? And I think that's normal, because it is it's an unknown technology. It is the metaphorical and literal quote unquote other that's coming to take the job. So there's always going to be fear built around that. But again, to your point, we should be focusing on the positives and the potential that this can bring. But again, I think it requires a cohesive effort from all stakeholders, from Sam Altman right down to the factory worker and beyond. I think this is really important. And
us as advocates in the middle of all that.
Yeah. Yep, saying we're ringing the bells, saying brilliant, look at this, and also ring going, hold on a minute.
Keep looking for more RealmIQ sessions on our website and in your LinkedIn feed.